What's up, guys, and welcome back to the NoShang Invitational. We're in bottom bracket best of three mode. Elements with one game advantage over Cookies are going to be looking to knock their opposition out. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Daneliecasts for this second game. I feel like whoever wins this, it really depends on whoever makes fewer mistakes.
That's something along the lines of what I was going to open with. Just saying it's going to be a game of imperfections, and obviously the team with more perfect moments should be coming out on top. So yeah, but it's practically what you just said. We saw so many mistakes last game, and it wasn't just it was both teams making all these mistakes. It was an abundance of misplays, imperfect plays, whiffed chronospheres, completely missed stuns, heroes out of position, and also lions making disappearing acts, or at least appearing acts, aka blinking. And like, honestly, Fervian played a really good lion last game. He played as the main initiator for elements when it came to those pickoffs. He played very well. He got so many kills setting up for his team. And for MVP for Cookies, I want to say Jelly, as he did give his team a lot of openings to the chronospheres, but he also missed a lot of them. So he does have a lot of promise as a player. If he does iron out some of the chronospheres as the meta progresses, I can't help but feel like it could be a very solid player, and maybe someone you could be looking to in one of the top teams to somewhat pinch later on down the line. I see a lot of promise in him as a player in general.
I'm not completely sold on that. I think,
No?
personally, I would rather have a super consistent Chronosphere void player, I
Yeah,
guess,
that's
chronosphere dropper over like someone who can hit an amazing one time and then kill off his friendly Ember Spirit the next. So I think it's really hard to say if anyone was like really an MVP there. Cookie's their Witch Doctor got a hell of a lot of farm, and that is a large part of what got them to that 30k plus lead by the end of the game. The fact that Pablo, just the support hero, was just such a huge threat, and usually the hero is going to be a threat whenever you pair him up with the Faceless Void, but to the degree that he was in the last game, really forced Element's hand in quite a few of those engagements. So uh, would like to see if Pablo is able to have a repeat performance there, and maybe we could tighten up the screws here, because as he said, there were a lot of mistakes on both ends. So whoever makes fewer mistakes, as usual in Dota, is going to come out ahead. We'll also see if these teams are able to pick up really mistake-proof lineups, idiot-proof lineups, where if you make a mistake, not a big deal. You can still roll with it. You can still get quite a bit done. As it stands right now, however, the junglers are going to be banned out. Earth Spirit as well. Bounty Hunter still in play right now, but Element's instead going to go for the Beastmaster, going to go for their Invoker as well. I like just seeing early initiation on the Beastmaster from Elements.
I love seeing Beastmaster in general. You've got all the extra vision to work with because of the Hawk. You've got a very, very low cooldown, hard disable in the Primal Roar as well. It's pretty much the all-in-one offlane if you really think about it, because he can also farm in the jungle if he doesn't do too well in lane. So you've already secured themselves a very strong offlaner for elements. And with the Beastmaster on the side of elements now, they need to be very careful with who they decide to put in their safe lane, as well as what support's going to be babysitting the safe lane, because Beastmaster poses a similar threat in the off lane as a Faceless Void. If you put a weak support or a weak laner in that safe lane, Beastmaster can contest that lane very easily. It's just so easy to put pressure in that off lane as the Beastmaster because of the boars. The boar in itself is enough to really keep the supports at bay, because if the supports aren't careful, Beastmaster can tear through them quite quickly. So, Wish Doctor for Cookies, this is a very reasonable support when it comes to dealing with Beastmaster, just because you can get some of the coconut procs on the Beastmaster's boar and himself. So, I like the Witch Doctor pickup. This is also going to be Pablo's hero, as we saw last game. He ran a 18-minute Aghanim Scepter, but that was mostly off the back of the Bounty Hunter. I'm not too sure if he's going to get it at the same timing this game.
He may or may not, but still, it's a nice little hero to have sustain for the OD, get some answers to the Beastmaster, and who knows, the rotation onto the Invoker as Witch Doctor, not the best, but certainly is going to be enough to at least make the Invoker situationally play a little bit scared. Still, this opening for Elements is quite deadly. They do have quite a lot of summon units. OD is going to have pretty okay time clearing those out, but between Forge Spirits and Boar's Elements, their pickoff potential is going to be super high, and I would like to see supports to reflect that. Lion would have been by far the best hero to have as a complement to that, just being able to single target initiate on someone and then burst them down afterwards with Sunstrike and whatnot. I would like to see that route for Elements, and well, they're going to go ahead and go for the Juggernaut right now, showing off your 3 cores before grabbing any supports. Not my favorite thing to do as far as drafting is concerned, but it's really hard to find issue with any one of these core heroes.
Yeah, but in general, just seeing all these three heroes paired up together, like you've already got you already have some great synergy. So you've got the Juggernaut that's going to be sustaining the push for the Beastmaster and the Invoker. Juggernaut is one of the most balanced carries in the game. He is a very strong laner, so ganking him during the laning phase as well as the mid game is not going to be an easy task for Cookies unless they have a BKB piercing disable such as the Bane. So Juggernaut's going to be pretty difficult to kill. Beastmaster's very like all these cores are quite difficult to take down. Maybe the Invoker is the easiest at this point. He is quite vulnerable in lane as long as you have the supports rotating in for Cookie. So like even though you've essentially revealed your draft with the 3 cores, I feel like the heroes are strong enough in lane that even though Cookie's may be looking to counter them out, Elements may just feel confident enough and say, we've got strong heroes, we're going to do fine during the laning phase. You can pick your counters, do whatever you like, because we are happy that we have heroes that we want.
And for the record, when Danny says the Juggernaut is one of the most balanced heroes in the game, she
Oh.
means she means as far as what the Juggernaut contributes, what he does is very high across the board. Whether or not that makes him a quote unquote balanced hero, like how I usually use it, is a different question entirely. But yeah, Juggernaut definitely does do a lot of everything. A big problem arises for Juggernaut, however, when he's going up against Sven in particular. Warcry, that's a very balanced skill. 20 armor going up against an Omni Slash, and you do pretty much nothing there as a Juggernaut. So it's a pretty nice hero for Cookies to pick up, mostly just because Sven has Warcry. Elements have a pretty large reliance on right-click damage as it stands right now. Juggernaut and Beastmaster almost exclusively in those departments. Invoker does do a lot of physical right-click as well, can mix in a couple of magic hits as well, but Sven's Warcry going to be a huge defensive asset for the Cookies side, and at the same time keeps them rather open. The cleave is okay versus Element side, versus all their summons and whatnot, but really, it's all about that Warcry, man. It's all about getting that Sven to a point where he just shrug off the Juggernaut's attacks and move forward. Always moving forward. Disruptor, the pick for Elements, though. That's an interesting one. I do like the ability for Disruptor to control the likes of Sven in an OD, but as it stands right now, Disruptor, I'm really on board with Disruptor when there's a Darkseer on the other end, and, well, there's obviously not. I guess this effectively bans that hero out, however.
Yeah, they also may be expecting the Darkseer pick. But overall, though, I think the Disruptor is a great hero, as you are able to sort of move heroes around with the glimpse. So chasing for elements is going to be a lot stronger just because of the glimpse that's going to have the consistent uptime. The silence is also the crucial thing here, I think, for elements, especially when you're going up against an OD. If you can catch him out in the kinetic field and then land the static storm on top of him, the OD is in a very vulnerable spot. He's got no defensive heroes that are going to be able to help him out. Unless they pick up a Vengeful Spirit here. It does look quite attractive for Cookies, as it will also combo up with the Sven, but I'm looking at Elements too. They could benefit from the Vengeful Spirit themselves, so I wouldn't be surprised if either squad picks that support up. And it's going to be the Bounty Hunter Witch Doctor combination again for Cookies. So
Yeah.
they feel confident enough to run the Bounty to put a lot of pressure onto Elements' laning phase, as well as giving that extra gold to the Witch Doctor.
Wow, showing a lot of hate to the Darkseer, grabbing the Disruptor and banning it out. Vengeful Spirit will be kicked out, as Earthshaker is going to instead take her place. Supporting duo from Elements, susceptible to the Bounty Hunter, but really with Bounty Hunter, what you have to look for is how resistant is the mid lane hero of the enemy side to that Bounty. Invoker has some ways of counterplaying the Bounty Hunter, but with OD and Bounty to worry about, Invoker is going to need some help, and that's where Earthshaker is going to, at least in theory, come into play. You get jumped by a Bounty, you throw a Fissure, you disengage, should sometimes work out for your squad. Elements, they will have a lot of control coming out of these supports, but as far as zoning is concerned, as far as killing the lane is concerned, it is going to be not exactly the easiest of combos to land, depending on what Cookies put into their off lane right now. Earthshaker, what are your thoughts on that as the 5th pick of Elements? I feel like the hero, as it stands in this patch, kind of underwhelming, but specifically to deal with this Bounty Hunter is okay.
Not just that though, it really felt like they needed the long range initiation, and Earthshaker can provide that with the fissure at least. And because there's a Bat Rider now on the side of Cookies, at least you have something plus the disruptor. Aside from the disruptor glimpse, you've also got the fissure now to sort of potentially catch out the Bat Rider if you do get there in time with the fissure, not fissure block, but at least you can hit him to slow him down. So with this game, I feel like Earthshake is reasonable. Not too sure if he's going to do incredibly well, but at least he will have some utility. Especially when he does get the Blink Dagger, though, that changes the game completely. Because Earthshaker and Invoker, them together as a combination can be very deadly. And considering it's going to be Fervian running the Earthshaker, we know what he can do with the Blink Lion. What are we going to be seeing with the Blink Earthshaker from him?
Well, hopefully for
I'm excited.
elements. Hopefully for elements, a lot of the same, right? It's pretty much the
Yeah.
exact same thing. Blink in on people and stun them. Sounds really easy in practice, not as much so, especially with the last pick Bat Rider here from the Cookies squad is kind of resistant to what elements have. Fissure, it's nice to stun, but you can just fly right over that. Slender will be able to occasionally glimpse back the Bat Rider, but Juggernaut, Shaker, and Bat Rider is kind of a weird mixture of heroes, and because Bat Rider, he might get glimpsed back behind the wall again, but Juggernaut has to be able to pass through the wall, and he just can't do that. So the Bat Rider pretty resistant to that, and worst comes to worst, he just goes into the jungle and grabs his Blink Dagger that way. I feel like Cookie's draft is potentially a little bit more streamlined for the element side. Not to say that elements have any huge gaping flaws. They're pretty well balanced in their ability to start team fights with the Beastmaster and end team fights with their massive amounts of AoE damage. But Cookies, they have the Bat Rider with kind of slow responses from the elements. Fissure is okay. Glimpse is okay as well. But as long as this Bat Rider gets at all decent timing on his Blink Dagger, and you should expect that given how Stefan and Pablo played last time, then Cookies will have a good portion of the game where they are just in complete control and will be able to accelerate the crap out of this Sven with track.
Okay, so the Invoker did try and go for a scouting Sunstrike, but everyone in Cookies already left the base. So they are going to be going. The Invoker, well, Elements is essentially going to be going in blind, not knowing what some of these heroes in Cookies are going to be picking up. Luckily for them, there's nothing like smokes or that, so there's going to be no element of surprise first ganks or anything or stuff like that. So at this point, it's just going to be the standard stuff, just going in, grabbing the bounty rune. Obviously, it's not going to be going into the Beastmaster's pockets because he's going to be by himself as we've got 3 heroes in the top lane. Obviously wanting to give that to Adam on the OD, who is going to be matched up against this Invoker. Now, from what I've seen in this Invoker versus OD matchup, Invoker does reasonably well, assuming he doesn't get pressured by the OD +1. Now, with the Bounty Hunter on the map, it's going to be a bit of a different story.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think the Invoker is going to do? Will he have to have that Earthshaker babysitting him, or can he leave after maybe level 3 or 4?
Yeah, the Earthshaker's gonna have to hang around here most of the time because Steph Style is gonna be hanging around here most of the time as well. Invoker, as he said, usually has an okay matchup versus the OD. Early on, it's really bad because you just have really low base damage on the Invoker. He gets a little bit more later with the Exort, and with those summons, he'll have a little bit more in the way of control, but summons going up against OD don't really work that great because of the orb, and you have to also worry about the bounty hunter 24/7. So this Invoker is going to need, for at least a little bit of this game, a little bit of help. Fervian is right now going to give a lot of momentum towards that top lane, at least momentum towards the Dire Creep wave. It's going to be pushing in towards the Beastmasters. EXC should have a pretty nice time there, given that opening. But for right now, Pablo's pretty deep behind enemy lines, going to run to the Earthshaker. Not the courier that he was expecting. Kind of a bummer for him, but either way, he's going to stick around, hang around the mid lane, and Steph Styles actually going to have his hands full up towards top at the moment. Trying to pressure a Beastmaster as a bounty hunter is not easy. This guy has a lot of armor.
Yeah, honestly, I don't see Cookies getting any kills on this Beastmaster. He's just too tanky. They don't really have the heroes to take down the Beastmaster. So they can try and pressure him a few times, but I really don't see the Beastmaster dying. So they might have to rotate Steph Style into another lane. Obviously, mid lane could be something to look for, but the Earthshaker being having some presence in the mid lane is not really attractive either, I suppose. But then again, you can't even do anything down bottom either, so mid lane's the best chance for the bounty hunter to really make anything happen. So looks like this game it's going to be much more difficult for Steph Style to really make anything happen. Even though you're roaming bounty, and typically bounties are picked up to sort of also mind game their opponents into playing more cautiously, I don't really see any sort of major impact the bounty's going to be having this game.
It's gonna take a little while longer. Like OD is level 3 at this point, which is already pretty darn high. But now that he knows that the Sentry Ward is over in mid, that should be his prime objective, at least to apply a little bit of more of that passive pressure towards the Invoker, who is actually very far up the lane, going to lose his detection up against Steph Style. And I think the other Sentry, yeah, it's on the Disruptor all the way on bottom lane, so nothing fantastic there. Kata's got to really be careful right now because the Observer Ward's actually to his south, and Steph-Style's going to grab a Haste Rune. Let's see how much damage they can actually do. Janata hit is going to slow him down. First Orb is going to miss. Now the Cold Snap onto Adam. Earthshaker is coming around the corner. Kata's got to back up. However, Fissure is going to come in time to save the Invoker. And Steph-Style with the Haste Rune will get away. If Irvium was just a little bit closer with that Cold Snap, I think Elements are potentially looking at least a closer skirmish, maybe even First Blood, but instead they're just going to have to settle for the survival of the Invoker, which is not too bad at all. Not too bad. They're going to go for Adam one more time. Cold Snap is there plus a Fissure. Adam does not have enough mana to imprison himself with the Force Spirit right on top of him. He's going to eat the Fairy Fire. A couple more right clicks from these heroes, and it's going to be Adam to survive, albeit barely. Drinking down everything in his inventory. He's going to get back up to full in no time flat. That was so close for Elements, but not quite good enough.
Sliver of HP. If he died there, that would have been a huge win for the Invoker. Not only would he have gotten First Blood Gold, but he would have essentially won, I suppose not win the mid lane, but at least he would be in a much more dominating position than he would have originally. So for Kata not to get that, it's rather unfortunate, but at this point, what can he really do? You can't really do anything about it. So keep farming away. You have to still worry about the bounty. They need to get that Sentry Ward in the mid lane at some point, because you do know the bounty's going to be putting some pressure mid, and he is heading over there as well. But Fervian is sitting in the tree line, so there is backup here for the Invoker if anything goes awry. But for now, it's going to be a little bit more quiet, as Steph Style is just going to scout around for now, looking to see if there's any stacks or whatnot. Possibly going to be going for a block if he wants to, but nah, it looks like he's just going to go for a bit of a scout. Nothing too important here for Steph Style.
Yeah, the important thing right now is the fact that both Bounty Hunter and Earthshaker are kind of tied up in this mid lane, and in a head-to-head engagement, there's no chance that Earthshaker is going to win that simply because he doesn't have the damage nor the armor to trade with Steph Style. And oh, Dust is going to be blind, and they're going to catch the Bounty Hunter. Is that a block? I think not. Yeah, he's going to find a way through the trees. Glimpse back, however, is going to put him in a rough spot. He's going to grab a regen rune, which he failed to grab before. Sunstrike is still going to land, but there's not enough damage. Blind Fissure in 3 seconds, yeah, it's not quite going to do it. Bounty Hunter's going to live, albeit barely. Did they have any indication that the Bounty Hunter was there, or were they just dusting just for the sake of checking? I think that was a blind dust.
The courier actually delivered something to Steph Style. So that's pretty
awkward.
much the only thing that gave away. Yeah, that's something that you never would have actually thought of. You just don't think it's a factor, but you see a random courier passing by both supports and it sort of like stops halfway through and backs up. You've got a dust, especially when you're up against a bounty or any sort of hero with invisibility. So that was an error from Steph Style to send the courier like that and think you would have gotten out free.
Yeah. That being said, we do now see the weakness of Elements. The Disruptor and the Earthshaker, they give a lot of control to the enemy, to their own team, as far as killing off their enemies, but you really need someone like the Juggernaut, like the Invoker, to actually use that control to get kills. By themselves, these heroes are very, very low damage until they get a lot more levels, and once Cookies group up, then those ultimates and their damage will actually become relevant, but until then, a roaming Disruptor Earthshaker, that's not going to get many kills, especially when, like we can see it, they found a Bounty Hunter all alone, no backup anywhere nearby, and they got close, even with the Sunstrike, but they were not with enough damage to get that kill. So Elements for the first however many minutes will be forced to kind of just chill out in lane. Bottom lane, Batrider has left it, so Jelly is looking at a Blink Dagger in his own jungle at this point. And Elements, I don't think they have the proper heroes to stop him. Like, who's actually going to go and stop him? Sure as hell not the supports.
No, unless they decide to maybe ward the jungle, but do they really want to be using wards to slow down the Batrider when you know Bat has a very easy time when it comes to getting a Blink Dagger? Yeah, I don't really think that's the case. So it just seems that both offlaners are in the jungle. They just want to make sure that they can guarantee themselves that farm. They don't really want to be slowed down by sitting in the off lane. Which I think for both teams is just, it's a very, very good decision to make sure they're not wasting their time in the off lanes if they know they can't accomplish anything.
Oh, we do have a immediate level 6 pickup. Beastmaster getting that obviously is able to do a lot more with his ultimate than the Batrider with his naked. Lasso is great with Blink Dagger, kind of mediocre without it. But Beastmaster has everything you could possibly want to go in, including a Shaker with them. They're going to smoke up and look for the OD. Now, Imprison is up right now, but that will set up for the Invoker Sunstrike, so this is pretty much the ideal play here for Elements. It's not spotted by anything, and unless the OD has some real sick star sense, he is looking like he may be the first blood drawn by Elements, and that is, of course, ideal.
Are there any TPs on the supports to potentially help him? We've got a support. There's a TP on the Witch
Whoa, he's
Doctor,
level
so they
2,
may.
though.
Yes, I suppose.
What? How is he level 2? There's a huge stack here, I guess, so he's going to get a little bit more experience, but he's been doing nothing but babysit this top lane against no heroes. You'd expect at least the same level on Disruptor, right?
Yeah.
That's weird.
But Disruptor's an extra level ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they popped the dust. They found Steph Style again. Now this time he's gonna die because there's a Juggernaut spinning on top of him. So that's first blood going down towards that bottom lane. And it seems that gank in the mid lane didn't really come to anything. They didn't even get the roar off. They just got the fissure off onto Adam. So,
yeah.
Well, if something doesn't happen on one side of the map, just assume that it happened on the other side.
Well, they got the kill nonetheless for Elements. Can't really be too picky about that. It is going to be the Disruptor grab it, and ZXC, I don't think actually revealed his level 6 yet. Well, it is now going to do so, so Cookies now know what they're up against. But hey, first blood is first blood. Disruptor's going to be pretty darn happy about that. So well, we'll see if they can get anything else going with this Beastmaster. He's now going to return up towards top lane. Witch Doctor is a viable gank target right now. He's going to go ahead and roar him. There's one boar. Second boar is here with the Fissure Chain Stun. Sunstrike is going to miss. Doesn't matter. Got kill. Got the kill on Witch Doctor. Nobody panic. It's still Beastmaster doing a hell of a lot of damage, especially with such a duration of Chain Stun between the roar and the Fissure.
That Sunstrike was essentially Kata just saying, "I'm still here." That was pretty much it.
Let this be a warning shot?
Yeah, just a warning shot, just to let him know I'm still here. If you're still alive, I am still here. Although, even if he did survive all of that, I'm pretty sure the Witch Doctor would have been able to get out just because it missed. Anyways, back to the story here. So for now, it looks like Steph Style, he's died a couple of times, right? So I don't know how they spotted him out that second time. I suppose it was that Observer Ward that's sitting on the high ground down bottom. It's probably the only way that it spotted him out. They're actually using the courier for extra vision. So, Bounty Hunter's only level 3. This is definitely not Steph Style's game.
Yeah,
especially when you compare it.
I do like this play, though, from the Cookie side. Putting the Batrider in the jungle is pretty standard. And then having the Bounty Hunter take his place it seems like a logical thing to do, right? As long as the Bounty Hunter can play that offlane Bounty Hunter role, just be sneaky, try to find a little bit of a hole to hide in, grab his level 6, and ideally the play would be get the Blink Dagger at the same time as Track.
Oh, Pablo.
Ooh.
Died again.
Take 2. Worked the first time, it's definitely going to work the second time.
Yeah, definitely. Exact same pot shot too from Kata. So, I think he may want to start moving that Sunstrike a little bit. I think he underestimates the duration of the stun from the Beastmaster. I think that's the case here.
He's just idiot-proofing it, so in case the Earthshaker Beastmaster mess up, then he's there to catch them. It's not an offensive thing, it's just what he's doing. It's just insurance, because...
Insurance.
Yeah, you either have your allies mess up and you get the kill with the Invoker, or your allies don't mess up and you get the kill with the Beastmaster and Earthshaker. So it's all good, no matter how you slice it.
I'm not too sure if I want to sign up for the Kata insurance plan, but I wouldn't mind if you want to, if you want to sign up on my behalf and just let me know how that goes. Blink Tiger's picked up on the Batrider in the meantime. 9 minutes and 33 seconds in, so he's pretty much rushed this Blink Dagger outside of his boots. And with the Blink Dagger up, he will grab a smoke, I presume, and try and rotate into one of the other lanes to try and grab a kill. Although, what lane with the bat. I suppose mid lane would be the highest chance of grabbing a kill. It's it's an invoker with no support.
Support is actually right around the corner right now.
Well, never
Beastmaster
mind.
looking to jump in beforehand. And it's going to be Adam to get hit with the fissure. Cold Snap is there, plus the roar. They're going to layer their stuns quite a bit. I don't think it matters, and it won't. OD is going to fall. And that is a massive pickoff. Not only do they kill off the OD, but they kill off the OD pretty much as soon as the Bat Rider wants to make his rotation in. So he has this Blink Dagger, he has the lasso, and he's ready to go along with Flens, but there's way too many heroes to actually jump in at this stage. They're going to try it anyway. Blink Dagger, lasso. Fabian's going to be there with a 3-man fissure to get the Invokers a little bit more space, but it's not going to be enough. He is going to fall in the end. And for Cookies, that could have been very close to terrible, but it is going to be a kill nonetheless. Because of that power of the Sven, I bet Elements didn't expect the Blink Dagger to be coming at that timing with a Sven. Usually Sven's going to still be on top lane at that stage.
Absolutely. So it ends up being a mid for mid trade. So would you say that would be equal for both sides, or would one team be a little bit happier with how that went? I suppose Elements would be happier, because the Invoker got the EXP, OD got absolutely nothing, I suppose. That would have been the only real thing that differentiated the games.
At the same time, Elements are working with assets that they... Ooh, Sunstrike on a Pablo! Oh, it's right on the mark! Insurance policy, yes? No?
One.
I think it's pretty darn good right now, depending on how expensive it is, but I'm liking it from the Invoker. But yeah, Cookies show off a new asset with that, and Elements are just working with existing assets, so there's something to be said from that. Like, it's almost guaranteed that Cookies get that, whereas for Elements, they're just working with what they have, so no element of surprise there, and they're still going to be able to do that on any given target, especially since CXC at this point with level 1 book. Well, if he finds the Bounty Hunter, if he finds the Witch Doctor, those are free kills for the Beastmaster, no questions asked, and well, he's actually going to be in a 2v1 scenario right now. The cast is going to throw out, bounce to a couple of creeps. They do know where the OD is. Fervian has an angle to stun, not wall. He's going to stun, not wall. And here's the Sunstrike plus the Roar, and Adam's going to get chain stunned a couple more times. He's going to imprison himself, but I don't really see an escape route for him. All the cast is going to bounce through. Adam's going to allow space because of the Flame Break, and he's still going to survive. OD's going to walk out of there. Pablo's Death Ward is going to clean house, but it's really the Flame Break from Jelly that separates them so that the OD can actually have some space to walk out. And on the bottom lane, there comes the hammer. God's Strength is already popped and Flens. He's going to go straight towards Slander. He's going to glimpse the Bat Rider all the way back. Slander, however, stuck in a corner. He's going to try to teleport. Not going to happen. Whack. There's the kill. And, well, Flo will get out of there in time. After all is said and done, Cookies get 3 kills all around the map. That was a narrow escape, but, man, Bat Rider Flame Break is a legit skill. Kata over in mid is going to start a fight now with Flens. Cold Snap is going to be used, but he gets hit with the hammer. They're going to bump him back once again. Fissure is thrown out, but there's no follow-up to this. Everyone should fall back from this mid-lane scenario, although Fervian's going to want to go for the tower, is going to go up the high ground, and then get imprisoned. ZXC is around the corner, but he doesn't actually have that much to help. Looks like there's going to be no fight here. Massive engagement across the map, though, for Cookies.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about that top engagement. The Beastmaster, he did deploy his Necronomicon 1 units, but when he and the Earthshaker got disabled, did the Coconut bounce onto the Necro units as well? Because when that fight ended, the Necro units weren't hitting any heroes. They were essentially just standing idle as the fight happened.
That must have just been a micro error, because they threw out the cast beforehand. I don't think it would have been available to throw out again. That fight definitely didn't happen over the course of 14 plus seconds. It might have been like some weird auto attack thing with the Flame Break, because maybe you just like expected the units to attack, because you don't expect to be pushed away from that trap. Like, the only thing that can do it from the Cookie side is coming from the Bat Rider, and they just didn't know that he was there. So yeah, I didn't notice that, but if it did happen in the way you described, it was almost assuredly a micro error from ZXC.
Yeah, because if they knew that they weren't targeting the OD, I actually think the Necro units may have been able to finish up Adam. He got out with like, it was 66 HP on the OD. Like, he almost died there. Oh, Pablo's dead. Rip.
Sunstrike.
That's
see, another insurance Sunstrike.
That's a failed insurance plan. It happened after the event of the incident.
It's fine, though, because in case it didn't work out, they would get the kill. That's what it's all about. It's idiot-proofing your team.
Why?
I don't know why you're questioning this. Jelly's on the bottom lane. He's going to go up into the sky. They're going to fissure onto Flens right now. He does not have Warcry. Omnislash going to do a little bit of damage to everyone, but not really enough damage to anyone. Now Flo, he's hit with the lasso, but he is spinning, so there's no damage coming out from that Firefly. Slander, he's going to drop the Static Storm to no avail. Shuriken going to bounce through onto 2. Lots of value out of that nuke. Slander slowed down. Flo is the OD right on top of him. Fissure's going to be thrown out, as well as the hammer. Flo doomed to fall. Slander's going to get the glimpse back and actually save himself with it. They lose the Juggernaut. Honestly, I thought they were going to lose a lot more elements. Should be able to make a clean retreat out of here. And meantime, towards top lane, ZXZ, Death Ward is going to be deployed along with a level 1 Maledicts. ZXZ should be able to teleport out of here. Hammer is available for this Sven, but he can't quite catch up. They will, however, catch up to the Earthshaker and grab him, but Cold Snap out now into the OD. He's going to imprison himself. There is nothing that the Invoker has to actually go into the OD any longer, and he will fall back. A 2-for-1 exchange across the map. Again, it is Cookies to claim yet another win, and now track gold is going to start flowing in.
And this is the trouble that Elements is going to start running into now. Track gold. Now, last game for Elements, how big of a lead? Honestly, like 30k. I'm trying to word this correctly. Is it like the question in my brain is perfect, and I just can't word it in English for some reason.
Is it how do they handle an increasing gold lead with the heroes that they have?
It was more along the lines of how big of a factor was the bounty hunter in the previous game, and then comparing it to this game, like how big of a factor would it be as well? Could you say it would be somewhere similar where Cookies have got great scaling heroes and they could fully utilize that bounty hunter, or would you say that the bounty hunter may start to fall off after a certain while?
I mean, getting farm on the Sven and OD, they have such huge peak. Pablo's having a much rougher time this game. Like, he was looking at an Aghanim Scepter soon, so he's going to be very happy to get a little bit of extra track gold. So the bounty hunter in this game has just as much room to grow as in the last, and yeah, it seems like he's going to be in a pretty decent scenario. The movement speed especially is going to be pretty big for the likes of the Sven.
Jelly.
Put up a field.
He slowed up.
Yep, not going to connect as they're going to get a 2-man stun. Actually, only 1-man stun to Slander. Omnislash is going to bounce through, but the Warcry is going to essentially nullify that ultimate. Death Ward is now going to be dropped into ZXC. It's still being focused onto him. He's going to get the roar off onto Adam, but he's going to self-imprison. Adam's going to be fine for a little while longer. Pablo's ultimate doing so much damage. Not going to get that many kills, but they will set up for another stun onto the Invoker. Grab the kill with Flens. Double kill for the Sven. Burion's going to walk around the corner, Echo Slam, and the Fissure, but there's not enough follow-up to this one. Does a lot of damage. Now Flo's going to have to deal with this Sven. A couple more right-clicks onto the Juggernaut with the hammer there as well. They'll kill up the Jug. They'll kill off the Earthshaker. It's a full 5-man wipe. And as advertised, Warcry, such a ridiculously cost-effective spell coming out from the Sven, saves absolutely everyone. Nullifies an Omnislash, lets Cookies disengage, and it's a massive win for the Cookie side. I don't know how many track kills there were there, but there's probably quite a few.
Track kills or not, it's a complete team wipe and you just lose a Bat Rider. Like, if that's what you're getting, and then you add a couple of track kills on top of that, you gotta be super happy for your Cookies. They're getting a huge influx of gold onto their cores. The Sven's gonna get huge very shortly. The OD, a hero that's typically plagued with farming issues, getting a huge influx of gold as well. You could say that Adam's never gonna be he's never gonna have a farming problem just because the bounty is in the game, which is really bad for Elements. Now mid, they're trying to jump onto the Bat Rider, but Steph Styles here as well. Slander's dropping pretty low. Jelly, he's a bit hesitant to try and go in for the re-engagement, but that's because there's 4 heroes in the mid lane now. And unfortunately, with no detection, they can't even kill off Steph Style. Well, that should have been a kill, but without the detection, Bounty Hunter gets away free. Unfortunately, the only detection that they have is in the stash of the Disruptor.
Adam. Gonna get Sunstruck. Necro Warriors on his ass, but it's not quite gonna do enough. He's going to have to run back to the right through the Necro Warriors because Fervy and Slander are here, but these heroes don't actually have a lot of damage. They have a level 4 Fissure. That won't kill off the OD, and now Flen's gonna pop that Warcry, charge right back in because Pablo's gonna look to initiate as well. Blinking from Jelly, Cass gonna bounce onto 2, as Fervian's gonna land a pretty decent Fissure, but he still has to deal with this big Sven. The Gotchek's actually gonna run out. Short glimpse back, Fervian's gonna get bumped one more time. Field goes up again. Look at all this control and no damage coming out from these element supports. They need some core heroes to come in and help out. And finally, Invoker is going to arrive. Have Cookies chased too far? Seems like the answer is no. I mean, I'm really surprised that Elements get away with everyone, but given all that control, if there was someone there, anyone there to apply any sort of damage, they were looking at least 2 kills.
Oh yeah, for sure. So there's a miskilled opportunity. Actually, I hear a Sunstrike. Oh, it's just to check the Roshan. Cookie's not really in a position to attempt Roshan, are they? They don't even have a medallion either to speed that up. Yeah, I suppose you have a Sven, but without the God Strength, they can't really take Roshan in time. At least they can take the T1 scot-free. Element's not really looking too interested in defending that, as they came out of a really bad, not really bad fight, but not the best fight in the world. They got 2 heroes smoked. They're trying to look for someone. The only one that should be available is the Batrider that's going to be sitting up in the top lane. And with the Earthshaker and the Beastmaster, that's enough initiation to potentially take him down. So, Jelly, cross your fingers.
Yeah, he has to blink out. Not going to happen with the fissure. Sunstrike is there to get the kill. No insurance needed for that one. Batrider down, and Tower is going to fall as well. And that's the Element's Burst combo right there, but Cookies have been able to work around it so far. They're going to catch up to Adam right now. Cold Snap is going to be nullified with the trap. Slander's going to drop the Static Storm in an attempt to kill off that OD, but he's going to cleanly walk out of there. Slander has to deal with one too many heroes, Shuriken and Sven coming from behind. That was an ambitious Static Storm, but yeah, top lane, they're still going to push in. Necro Warriors plus maxed out Beastmaster Aura. Inner Beast doing some serious work here, but the sustain from the Healing Ward will force everyone and their mom to teleport back in. Elements are not going to lose anyone on this top lane either. They make a pretty big push on this top lane, and Cookies, despite having a massive Sven, are kind of just having the Sven, getting pulled apart despite having a Blink Dagger and an SMY. Elements are just doing a pretty good job managing the map and using their control to the fullest.
Not just the control though, but they're making the most of the split push that they can do. Cookies, they've been mostly fighting as a 4 to 5 man unit because that's when their team is the strongest. And so they capitalize it by trying to go for some split push, having some heroes drawing Cookie's attention away from the top lane. And they're just playing it very well. They're just going to try and go for the split push. If they can make this work and start taking objectives like that, Cookies are going to have to start putting their A game on, or their game face at least, and start to deal with that split push, because you have a Batrider, which is a great hero when it comes to going for pickoffs, and obviously if they're split push, heroes are separated from the rest of the team. There's only going to be 2 or 3 supports behind them. So do they know how many heroes there are down bottom? Looks like they only know a few of them. They will pass through the Observe Ward, and Cookies have more of an idea before it got dewarded at least. But
This is a pretty important time for Elements, mostly because the Batrider, you expect to get a Blink Dagger, that's almost guaranteed. The Earthshaker, not as much so the more time that passes where the Earthshaker is not dying, and he's been surviving a lot more than I expected, is time for Elements to get a little bit more of their team fight up. And it is a decent item to have on the Shaker, especially up against Batrider and the Sven, just being able to control them. Sven does have a BKB, so it's not guaranteed, but this is a lot of valuable time for the Element side to kind of recover, and every single moment that passes where the Batrider has lasso and track and they're not using it is valuable time for the Element side. They'll Sunstrike to see the Roshan being attempted right now. This is a very difficult call for the Element side, despite their AoE control. There's a Batrider on the other end. They have to be very careful. Pablo's positioning is picture perfect right now. He's going to throw the cast from the high ground. Death Ward is going to be channeled. Fissure will not cancel, but the Static Storm will. They're trying to go for the OD, but he's not losing any HP. Now they get the lasso onto Flow. They're all wailing into this Juggernaut, pulling up to the high ground. Omnislash not going to come out in time. The rest of the heroes now stuck in a funnel. They'll buy back on the Juggernaut. Stephstyle going to take a pretty big hit by this Necroina's Flens. In the front lines, no more BKB is there. Echo Slam for a little more damage, but it's not quite enough. Juggernaut slowly making his approach in from below. Jelly's up on the high ground as well. Cookies, if they chase too far, they may end up getting blindsided by this Juggernaut. Kata's going to try to teleport out. He'll get imprisoned. Omnislash onto Flens right now. Will jump over to Pablo. Ultimately doing not that much damage. Axe is going to fly in, but Elements, they just don't have enough damage at this point. They'll throw out another Fissure. It's really well placed, but it's not going to do anything as Slander's going to take a fall. The Shuriken's going to bounce over to Flow and to Fervian. It's a double kill for Adam. It might be a triple kill plus buyback on a Flow, and it will be 4-0. Cookies clean house as Elements, 5-0 actually, with the buyback included. A 6,000 gold exchange, plus Roshan is wide open. There's just not enough damage coming out here from Elements.
that was a huge, huge blunder. I could understand them wanting to contest the Roche. You don't want to give an Aegis away this early on, but there's just so much control from Cookies. They were in a position. They were ready for Elements because they knew they were coming. They had the Witch Doctor position to the south. He was ready with the cask as well as the Death Ward. And then all hell just broke loose. The control was just too much. Elements, they're falling into this issue now that they've got great team fight control, but they don't have enough follow-up anymore to deal with some of these Cookies heroes. Like, some of these Cookies cores, they're not squishy anymore. OD sitting at 1.6k HP, which is very reasonable at this point in the game. Sven's got 2.2k plus an absurd amount of armor when Warcry comes online. It's not easy to kill these element heroes anymore, particularly with the lineup, sorry, not elements heroes, the Cookies heroes, with the heroes that elements have decided to run. It's not going to get any easier either unless they can get some guaranteed farm on the Juggernaut as well as Invoker to speed up their farm and amplify their damage output.
This control of elements is still here, however, so despite the fact that Cookies do take a massive exchange, if they get a little bit careless in their positioning, if Sven, gets hit with the Blink Echo Slam, and that is right now the most important item that Elements can grab on any of the heroes is the Blink Dagger and the Shaker, then they are still with enough tools to actually take a decent team fight. Like, you land a Static Storm, you land an Echo Slam, you land an Omni Slash, and that's a couple of very easy kills for the Elements side, but as it stands right now, Cookies, they have the Sven who's just being super disruptive, and as Beastmaster, 25 minutes in, you never really want to be roaring to nullify BKB. You still want to be using the roar to start fights, to get kills right off the bat. But I don't really know if he can make that call anymore. Flo's going to walk into a bad spot right now, surrounded on all sides, no spin. He's maledicted, he's death warded. Nice spin, going to do absolutely nothing. Juggernaut is going to take a spill as Witch Doctor is going to grab that kill. Flens does use God Strength for that. Not a terribly huge deal, though. Juggernaut off the table means most of the damage from elements is down the tubes.
That most of it or half of it? He's essentially half the damage, I suppose.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Beastmaster and Invoker can do a little bit, but yeah,
they're not big
they can't
enough,
fight
really.
without Juggernaut.
Absolutely, I would agree with you there. Kata, they found Jelly, and can they kill him off in time? Oh, Adam with the beautiful defensive Astral. And all of a sudden, they're going to have to try and get out of this. Kata actually throws off a beautiful tornado. No one can actually chase down, but looks like Adam was thinking about chasing, but the Disruptor, he's not in the best spot. Slander. He didn't really want to be there.
Jelly's back in the air with still his ultimate at the ready. Deafening Blast is going to almost kill off Adam, or at least take down the Aegis. Shuriken is going to bounce through onto Kata with the Flame Break there. They'll interrupt his TP out. Ghostwalk is not going to do anything here because he is tracked. He's going to turn and fight. Invoker's Last Stand is not going to do anything, although the Forward Spirits, not quite enough! So much damage because of that orb, and the OD somehow survives. In the meantime, Flens and Pablo on the bottom lane will shove down a tier 2 for free. Elements are bleeding heroes left, right, and center. This time, 20k lead in both Golden Experience, and for Elements, very few things are going right for them.
I don't even want to say few. It's as if nothing is going right. Absolutely nothing. Their draft looked reasonable at the very beginning, but they just didn't get the head start that they wanted, and it looks like they might be losing Flo again. He actually gets the spin off in time, but the lasso's going to be there. Adam's actually dropping pretty low. He still has the Aegis though. They swoop up the Omni Slash and actually doesn't even finish off anyone else aside from the OD, and it looks like Flo's going to be the first one to drop. I didn't get to see the rest of the heroes since I was watching the Juggernaut predominantly, but looks like Witch Doctor took a fall as well as the Invoker. Invoker was from earlier. I made the Beastmaster. Excuse me.
They used everything they had to kill off the Witch Doctor, and they did, but it costed them a hell of a lot, and Juggernaut dying there again. 0, 6, and 1, not a score you want to see on your core hero, especially when the Cookies heroes are so stacked. They're going to start sieging up towards high ground. Orb is going to clean through these Forge Spirits super quickly. Meteor is going to drop. Invoker is going to pretty much pull out all the stops here, but Cookies, just a matter of time before the Blink Dagger comes back up on Sven. He decides to make a jump in. Batrider has no lasso, but they're not really under any pressure. Shaw's going to land an Ice Wall into Flens. Ice Wall is one of the better defensive spells here, and they're going to glimpse him right back into it. Double value. With the Fissure, Tornado, they're throwing everything they have into this Sven, but it's not actually damaging him a hell of a lot, so he's down 1,000 HP, yeah, but he can very easily back off into the jungle with the Helmet Dominator and get right back up to full. Elements they hold, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to hold for much longer unless they land a Miracle Teamfight.
I don't know if a Miracle Teamfight's going to be enough, though. They just don't have enough damage output. I think that's what it's going to come down to now, as Cookies are really starting to tank up as a team. Their heroes are getting so ridiculously tanky, and it's not just that they've got all the HP pool in the world, it's also the magic immunity, which is a major problem. Like, I suppose Elements does have some okay physical damage, but it's mostly coming out from the jug. Invoker relies mostly on his spells right now to really do any sort of damage, and with the BKB up, that mitigates almost all of Kata's damage output. So you could say that when the BKBs are up, Invoker is pretty much a non-existent hero outside of just his pitiful noodle right clicks.
Yeah, and the supports from the element side are, of course, completely useless once that happens as well. If they had a little bit of, I don't know, mixed damage, they could at least diversify their threats, but at this point, elements, supports, I mean, even if they do land their ultimates, it's not really going to be an instant win because of the BKBs on the important heroes, the Sven and the OD, and, well, Earthshaker, he will have his Blink Dagger soon, so the dream scenario is possible right now, but I don't really know if he's going to have a chance to do it, because Flens is, again, not losing that much health in the course of these fights because of his tankiness, because of the physical-based nature of the Element's draft, and Cookies are looking to siege and really just pretty much end this game. If they get a lasso, they can look for Araxes right now. Top lane's being split push a little bit, but Cookies are going to settle for the free structure. They'll fall back. They'll play it slow. They're really in no rush. The only thing that they have to fear is a Blink Dagger Shaker with a Static Storm on top.
Are you really scared of that, though? It's not even that menacing.
Yeah, you're not like super scared, but it's the only thing that you're at all scared about.
I wouldn't even say scared about. It's just something that they're aware of, but then they're just gonna essentially shake it off at the end of the day. Well,
See,
they are gonna try
right
and
now
snipe,
they're
though.
gonna get eviscerated by that combo, and you're gonna look foolish.
There's
Or
nothing
the
here.
combo's gonna do nothing.
There's nothing here.
There's a bounty hunter. They were all here. The smoke almost hit properly, but instead it's going to do nothing. Steph Style is going to see some summons from the south, so he knows not to go out there. Smoke will not do anything.
Nice.
I like the attempts from Elements, but next time they didn't use any cooldowns, okay? It's still possible for Elements.
It's still possible. I'll give them that. We won't count them out completely. If they can make the split push work, though, it can definitely throw Cookies off. Because their split push is very, very menacing with the Beastmaster as well as the Invoker. It's just they need that opening.
Smoke.
And Cookies just isn't going to be giving it to them, especially with the smoke up, too.
Well, the Boar is not going to scout anything, and Flens is getting into a pretty good position. He has the God Strength at the ready. Doesn't exactly know where the enemies are. Slander's in the most trouble right now. The smoke will break on the OD, and the Firefly up towards the north is going to grab the Earthshaker. He is completely screwed over, and over towards the left side, Sven is going to solo the Disruptor super easily. Well, that's an easy 2-kill for Cookies. Time to take a tier 2, I guess.
Are they in a position to take a T2?
Yeah, just push top lane.
It's going to take a while for them to push top lane, though.
Well, what else are they going to do, right? They could probably push top lane if they really want to, then go for Roche. I guess they're just going to chill around the Roche pit to guarantee that.
Yeah. Just get the Roshan. They've also finished up the Scythe of Ice and the OD. Oh god. These big items are really starting to roll in for Cookies. And it's going to come to a point where they're going to reach the road of no return. And for Elements, obviously the road of no return is not a place that you really want to be, especially with the kind of draft that they're running. Although, does Jelly know? It's going to be ruled by the Beastmaster. Sunstrike and Jelly just melts. His name makes sense.
Oh, but over towards mid lane, they're going to jump in towards Flow. 2 shots will kill him off. They'll throw a Vigil, throw a Static Storm, can do a little bit of damage here to the OD, but Flens takes none of it because of that BKB. We'll put a little bit of damage to that tier 3 as well. But in the end, it's a Batrider for... Oh, is that Adam? Why is he still up here? He got glimpsed back. He's going to imprison himself. Get some backup. Sven's going to jump in and assassinate Slander. Jesus, the Sven's damage is insane. The bottom lane is still pushing in from Catan. This is probably the best that Elements can possibly hope for. Take a tier 3 in the meantime, but with Fortification there, the Invoker doesn't have enough gas in the tank to handle both Bounty Hunter and the creep spawning. Flens will just go to town and kill off the set of Raxes. Elements, they try to split push, but man, the Cookie side is doing way too much damage at this stage.
Yeah, this Sven is enormous. Any hero that Flens just jumps on top of, they're going to be decimated within the span of 1 to 2 right clicks. He just hits so incredibly hard, especially when the God Strength is activated. It's as if Elements just have their heroes completely deleted off the face of the earth just because of how quickly they're going to die. And with the Daedalus on top of this as well, like, I can't help but feel like some of these supports may get one-shot. Especially the Disruptor with only 900 HP is going to be quite vulnerable to getting one-shot. But Elements, they're still going to keep them with the split push game, and I feel like this is their only option left. You can't really afford to team fight Cookies anymore. Their heroes are just too far ahead, too many items, too big to really take down, aside from maybe getting a couple of cute kills on the Batrider, perhaps with your Beastmaster, but that's not going to keep you in the game, unfortunately.
By split pushing, they are making full use of the power of Sunstrike and Roar, two of their individually more powerful skills. And if Cookies are going to send, a hero to defend up against a split push, then that hero may just go down, and then they're in a situation where, yeah, they can probably try to race, but they'll be racing into an Invoker. They're going to jump in with the Batrider, Flame Break Blind. He'll get glimpsed all the way down to the south. The Slander, in the meantime, has got to deal with Steph style. Slander is dropped super low. 2 shots from the OD. That's Disruptor down the tubes, and now we have... Oh, Fervian, why did you Echo Slam there? There was no one nearby. You're killing me, bro. He's going to find an Iron Talon on the floor. That's okay. But you're not going to teleport out of this because there's a Bounty Hunter who should not use Shuriken until he sees that TP. You're not going anywhere. 1, 2, 3. That's another kill for the OD. And that's both supports, again, taking a fall here. Cookies, they are going to jump on the Invoker. Flynn's going to assassinate him as well. Jesus. It wasn't a one-shot, but it was pretty much a one-shot. Killed him within the duration of the hammer.
Oh my god. Elements. It looks like it's going to be a guaranteed game 3 at this point. Elements, they can't take any other objectives anymore. It's just too much. Cookies, they're so big, they can start leaving some singular heroes. Obviously not the Batrider, but if Flens is anywhere, I don't think Elements could kill him quickly enough before support comes through. But mid lane, Jelly, he gets taken down with the Disruptor quite quickly. They will send Pablo back, and Flens, he's come in to BKB as well as the stun. Gets 1, gonna get 2 as well. Actually flows quite quick, gonna go for these cute little jukes. He blinks out. Being chased up by Steph style. Steph wants to grab the kill, gonna be taken down with the Shuriken as well. And all of a sudden, you got the OD blinking on top of the Earthshaker. Even going for the Astral, but now Adam's gone really deep. He's BKB'd up as well. They have to buy back on the Invoker to actually grab these kills, and Pablo going in with the death. What gets cancelled, unfortunately. And Sunstrike doesn't kill Pablo. Your insurance is a lie.
Hey man, premiums or something, insurance talk, something. Cookies are going to just massacre Elements yet again. And I just want to point out how much of a unrelenting monster this Sven is. He ate his moon shards and then grabbed another. So attack speed is not much of an issue. He crits for about 1300, which will insta-kill the Disruptor even with armor and everything added on top of that. So yeah, you better watch out, Disruptor. They're going to take 2 sets of Raxes. ZXC is doing what he can on this bottom lane. Even if he gets Raxes here, I'm pretty sure there's no one who's going to care. They're going to grab him with the lasso. Firefly is on the deck. Now here comes Steph style for a little bit of extra damage. ZXC does have a TP out, but Flame Break and Shuriken will be saved to ensure that that is not the case. He's going to burn in the fire. In the meantime, in the main fight, Kata's going to get jumped right now. Stormhammer and the cleave. Oh god, that was brutal. 2 heroes immediately down. That was with no god strength as well. And this game, unlike the last, Cookie's making very, very few errors. Seems like Sven is a little bit more up Flen's alley, and well, we're going to end with a pretty elite score in this game 2. Victory for Cookies.
They definitely stepped up their game this time. Compared to last game where they were... Would you say last game Cookies were close to having that comeback outside of that one misplay of not having TPs? I felt like
they were always ahead in gold. I'm not really sure if you could ever call that a comeback. It was definitely like Cookies, I feel, being uncomfortable on their heroes, and this time it was just not the case.
Yeah, they played very, very well this time, so at least they've been able to grab a win as well. So now it's going to be going into a 3rd game between Elements and Cookies, and with this performance from Cookies now, though, would you say that the favor is now going to shift in the way of Cookies?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they could keep drafting like this, they should be fine. They had pretty much the advantage at every turn. Elements had very little going for them. Even with all their pick-off power, their kind of defensively natured supports ended up not doing quite enough to pressure the Sven. And, well, 13-0-8, I think, is going to speak for itself. But we'll see. This is going to go to a Game 3, guys. I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Danelie. We'll be right back in just a little bit to see who is going to be knocked out of the NoShang Invitational. Cookies or Elements? I have no idea, but I'm excited to find out. Don't go anywhere, guys.